Hi, I'm back. I'm Jasper, and today I'll be talking about what I would think if Courtney debuted in Total Drama Action Episode 1. If you don't know, in Total Drama Island, the campers who slid in the lake in the end got to compete in action for the $1,000,000. Canon, Courtney did not slide into the lake, but she got to compete because she won her lawsuit against the show for her unfair elimination. In Island, Harold rigged the votes against her, causing her unfair elimination. In this universe, Courtney was able to slide into the lake in the special, getting a spot in the action cast. Spoiler alert, I'm going to be talking about a bunch of stuff that happened in canon, and I don't want to spoil it for you, but if you don't care, enjoy. In episode 1, things play out the same with the introduction and the campers getting chased by the monster. I'm sure Courtney would stick by Duncan, Owen, and Owen would be the last one standing, so no one is eliminated. This is the alien egg catching episode. When Duncan talks to Gwen about the alien movies, I'm sure Courtney would be like Trent and make sure that Duncan still cares about her feelings. In the challenge, everyone hears Jeff and Bridget kissing, and everyone is terrified to see what is making the sounds. I'm sure Courtney would be like the one checking out the noises. As she is shown to have leadership and guidance skills, Courtney would see the two and tell them to stop being all lovey-dovey. Bridget would tell Courtney that they are so in love with each other, they can't stop. But Courtney would tell them to put their kissing aside for the challenge and join everyone. I'm sure Bridget would slightly agree, as she tells Jeff that they should focus on the challenge and they will kiss later. Jeff agrees and they share one last kiss. Everyone splits into their own groups. I arrange all of the campers in the groups. Bridget, being friends with Courtney, would ask if she and Jeff can join them in searching for eggs, and Courtney would say yes as long as there's no kissing. Later, these seven find the eggs as they are escaping. DJ gets shot, but everyone else is able to get away. Chris drops the bombs, and I'm sure Courtney would find a good place to cover with Duncan and would be able to keep the eggs. Gwen and Trent are able to find a good place but lose their eggs, and Bridget and Jeff would just get splattered as they are too slow. Trent would save Gwen's necklace and find the 2 eggs. In the end, Duncan, Courtney, Gwen, and Trent have the eggs and win the challenge. Chris would announce that the winners would choose the teams, and Chris being twisted, he would separate the couples. So Gwen and Duncan would be on the gaffers, and Trent and Courtney would be on the grips. And say that both pairs complain heavily, but Chris doesn't care. It is the Gilded Chris ceremony, and all of the campers have to vote out 2 people. This elimination would be hard to determine, as I don't think everyone would be piling votes on Jeff and Bridget. I don't know, but I feel like the 2 people who are getting the most votes here would be Heather and Owen. Heather gets the most votes as she is hated by a lot of the people here. Beth, Lindsay, Bridget, Trent, DJ, Duncan, Jeff, Gwen, and Lashana vote for Heather, while Courtney convinces Harold and Justin to vote out for Owen for being annoying with his farts. I don't know. I'm sure Izzy and Owen are voting together, and Heather's the only one voting for someone else. Now that the 2 are out, they'll be hosting the Aftermath show. Heather and Owen being the host is an interesting pair, as Owen would be the positive good guy and wants the best for everyone, while Heather is negative and hopes the worst. Gwen, Duncan, Courtney, and Trent are now choosing the teams. It goes like this. Gwen and Duncan choose Jeff. Trent and Courtney know that Bridget wants to be with Jeff, so they choose DJ. Jeff asks Gwen and Duncan if Bridget can be on their team, and they say yeah. Trent and Courtney choose Lashana. Gwen and Duncan choose Lindsay and Beth. Courtney and Trent would choose Harold and Justin. And lastly, Izzy is left for the gaffers. Chef would pull out DJ just like in the original and make that alliance to get him the win for the competition. That means that Chef would sometimes rig the challenges so DJ can get further in the competition. Grips get the old lady script and the gaffers get the gangsta script. Duncan reluctantly plays the gangsta role. After Gwen, Jeff, and Bridget would say he would fit the gangsta role, I can see Courtney volunteering to do the old lady role. DJ would ask Chef to not interfere, but Chef would tell him to shut up. In the end, Courtney does an emotional play, which gets Chef crying. We would see separate scenes where the couples, Gwen and Trent and Duncan and Courtney, would assure each other that they won't dump each other and that they will stay a couple. Now, the gaffers lost, and I think they are voting out Izzy. Gwen, Duncan, Bridget, and Jeff would think that she won't be much help in challenges. This episode is a non-elimination, but I'll briefly go through the notable stuff. For the surfing dodging challenge, the new people, Jeff, Bridget, and Courtney. Jeff would do good at first, but then gets hit. I can see Bridget and Courtney completing the challenge, as Bridget is known for being a surfer, and I'm sure she would be good at dodging stuff while surfing. And Courtney is a surfing genie, and if she's able to dodge the flaming coal in I'm Winning This, then I think she's able to win this challenge. But the gaffers win as more people on the team completed the challenge. Trent's 9 obsession, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 would show. Gwen would be weirded out, but Bridget and Courtney would notice and talk things through with Trent, and are able to calm down the 9 situation and get things clear with Gwen. Okay, I just noticed that the peanut gallery, it was in 310 to Crazy Town. I'm sorry for that mistake. In the beginning, the scene where Gwen and Trent are together, this scene wouldn't be as awkward as Gwen understands Trent's 9 obsession. Instead of being weirded out, she just chuckle a little bit and tell Trent to not go crazy. Because of this, in a challenge, Trent would not be making those awkward comments to Gwen. Like, in her condition, she'd probably fall off the platform and land on that poor horse. Break a leg. I bet you look really cute in that hat, Gwen. Utterly adorable. Now for the mounting steed challenge. The gaffers are up first. I can see Jeff cheering for the gaffers to land. Gwen, Duncan, Lindsay, and Beth are able to land, just like in the original. I don't think Jeff is landing, and Bridget wouldn't like the challenge because everyone is hurting the horse, so she bails out because she doesn't want to hurt the horse. Courtney would be cheering on the grips, forcing them to do the challenge. Trent is landing on the fence. DJ gets electrocuted. Justin bails out, even with Courtney's protesting. Without falling with Heather, I think Lashana can land on the horse. Or at least bounce off the ground with her hair and land on the horse. Harold lands, and this is not the jelly pit, so Courtney is able to jump off and land on the horse with ease. Gaffers win 4-3, which means the grips are at elimination. The Cowboy Lasso Challenge wouldn't happen because it was a tiebreaker challenge originally, and there's no tie here. After the challenge, Gwen and Trent would not have the breakup scene, as Gwen understands Trent's obsession, and Trent doesn't do anything too weird in the challenge at this point. I don't think Trent's obsession is as weird or as bad in the last episode. Gwen says that she's glad that Trent didn't go crazy with this 9 obsession. Trent would thank Gwen and says that Bridget and Courtney check up on his obsession and make sure it doesn't go too out of hand. Gwen then asks why he has this 9 obsession. In the original, Trent says it's because his train had 10 wheels, but 1 fell out and he was devastated. Then his mom said that 9 was his lucky number. That reasoning is kind of weird. Like, 9 is his lucky number because his mom said so, and because a train wheel fell and he was devastated. The explanation is kind of weak, so I'll change it a little bit. Trent tells Gwen that he had a train and the 10th wheel fell out. He was very devastated because he also lost it and he felt the train would never be normal again. Devastated, he tells his mom this, and she tries to make the situation positive by encouraging that sometimes 9 of something was better. Like, ever since then, he come to love the number 9 and used to do and have stuff in 9s. And only recently, the memory obsession of 9 came back to his head. I feel like this explanation is good because it makes more sense of why Trent's mom says 9 should be his lucky number, and would explain why he didn't, and would also explain why he didn't have this obsession in Island. Gwen would be touched by this explanation and now understands where the 9 comes from and knows Trent a little better. Gwen then suggests that he should tell Courtney and Bridget about this so they can possibly know better on how to control his obsession. Later, the two have a talk with Bridget and Courtney, who now have a better understanding. Later, Duncan, DJ, and Jeff would come in and also learn about the story. The guys are understanding and don't think Trent is such a weird guy. Duncan comments that he was thinking to stop talking to Trent because of the obsession, but now he understands and says that everyone has their quirks and weird habits, but sometimes for a meaningful reason. It is then that Duncan points out that they have been getting along well and have been good friends in the competition, and proposes an alliance. Everyone is instantly on board as they are all friends and want to make it to the end. Now the guys' alliance is official. While celebrating the alliance, Justin hears this. Later, Justin gets Lindsay, Beth, Lashana, and Harold by the trailers. As Gwen walks out of the trailer, Justin would force Gwen to tell them what he just heard when the guys were talking. Gwen would sneeze at first, trying to avoid saying, but then feels guilty and tells the rest about the alliance and how they want to slowly vote out one of them throughout the challenges. Beth asks if this is true, and Gwen says yes, and the 5 gasp. The 5 then leave, and Lashana says that the guys' alliance is going down. Gwen wouldn't tell the guys' alliance as she is afraid that she might make peeps like Duncan, DJ, and Jeff mad and turn on her. Later in the voting ceremony, Trent, Courtney, and DJ get a bit worried as they see some noticeable aggression from Lashana, Harold, and Justin. They don't know why, but they don't question. The Guys Alliance would just vote normally as they don't know anything about the aggression. The three vote out Harold as they don't think he would be that useful in challenges. But the other three vote for Courtney as they think she is the biggest threat out of the three. This is a tie and Courtney would be mad as hell. DJ tells Courtney that she has to win this tiebreaker or else who knows what those guys will do. Courtney is so motivated to win this tiebreaker. I don't know what the tiebreaker would be, but I'll just assume it's that lasso challenge. Both Courtney and Harold are given a lasso and the match would go on for a few minutes. Courtney would try her hardest to lasso Harold first, but Harold is just so good at dodging that I can see Courtney go tryhard mode and catch Harold winning the tiebreaker and getting him out. Lashana and Justin are now devastated that the Alliance would actually wipe them out quicker than they thought. Bridget are not the hosts, and instead we have Heather and Owen. Owen would love to do the aftermath, and I think Heather would be somewhat happy to do this, as she mentioned that she wanted to start a show if she won Island. And Aftermath is technically her show. Heather and Owen interview Izzy first. She would talk about random stuff, which Heather tries not to lose her sanity as she wants Izzy to answer her questions. Owen, on the other hand, would love the stories and tells her to keep telling more. This would conflict a lot with Heather's sanity, but she tells herself that this is her own show, so she stays and tries to ask questions. They also show the part where Izzy and Chef tried to make an alliance, but it doesn't go well. They interview Harold next, who complains about the Guys Alliance and how much he hates Duncan. I could see Heather trying to escalate the hate even more, and maybe Harold causing drama for something he says. I don't think this aftermath would be called Trent's Descent, and maybe this could be Harold's escalation. Now in the beginning, the campers are locked in the trailers. I'm sure the guys would be able to break out as these dudes are strong. Courtney is able to devise a plan to get out of the trailer through the top. Gwen would get nervous because of her claustrophobia, but Bridget would come and comfort her and manage the claustrophobia as the girls are able to break out. Now for the prison challenge, the Guys Alliance would talk amongst themselves to not put anyone in the cages. While the Guys Alliance are talking in their teams, Justin and Lashana would tell the Grips to hurry up on their talk and get someone in the cage. Justin and Lashana wouldn't expose the Guys Alliance right now, because if they do, they're just going to be chosen for the prison challenge, and they would create incentive for the Guys Alliance to vote them out. While the Grips are talking, I'm sure DJ can remember the time Lindsay was panicking and drinking the shampoo bottles. Trent and Courtney are laughing as they agree to choose her. They then would ask Justin and Lashana if they agree, and not wanting to cause any trouble, they sigh and agree on Lindsay. I'm sure Duncan, Jeff, Gwen, Bridget, and Lindsay would remember the time Lashana was barfing over the cockroaches, so they'd suggest Lashana. Lindsay would agree as she doesn't have any hard feelings for anybody and wants to win. Beth would worry that Lashana would get mad at her, so she tries suggesting Courtney. But Duncan hears this and gets pissed that Beth is suggesting this, and forces Beth to agree with Lashana. I'm sure no matter what, The guys' alliance would play this fair, not letting one team win easily because they are all friends and they know at the end of the day it's just a challenge, and the only thing that matters is that they are friends till the end. I think the same thing would happen like in the original. Lashana spits out Beth's retainers and Lindsay barfs, giving the grips the win. Next is the digging challenge, and where one person is pushing, and I can see Jeff volunteering for the gaffers. Lindsay tries to volunteer to prove that she is useful. Duncan, not happy with how Lindsay did in the last challenge, would restate that he, Gwen, and Bridget agreed on Jeff. Lindsay would have a confessional where she starts to think Duncan doesn't want to be her friend. Beth then has a confessional where she says that she wants Duncan and the guys' alliance gone as she wants to get further in the competition, but the alliance is the one thing in her way. Also, Gwen wouldn't volunteer or not agree because she is not throwing challenges like she did in the original, since Trent is still here and they are not awkward with each other. All of the groups agree for DJ to push them, as he's the strongest in the team. The groups have the golden shovel, so they are definitely able to cross the finish line first. Trent wouldn't sabotage because he is good with Gwen, and also Bridget would be comforting Gwen in the tunnel so she won't go crazy and won't be throwing spoons. As I was about to make this video, I noticed that Izzy came back here, and I never mentioned her after episode 11, and she was not voted out again. This is my mistake, but the outcome of the video heavily relies on Izzy not being here, so simply she won't come back. Sorry guys, this is my big mistake. Before the voting, Justin hears the guys' alliance planning on who to vote for, and hears that they plan to vote for Lindsay. Not wanting Lindsay to be voted out, Justin interrupts the meeting. Duncan asks what's his problem, and Justin replies with what's Gwen's problem. Justin would expose Gwen for telling everyone else about the guys' alliance. Courtney, expecting everyone to keep the alliance a secret, would get angry and ask why Gwen would tell the others, and Gwen is speechless. Duncan, Jeff, and DJ stare at Gwen as they are also upset that she made everyone a bigger target to everyone else. Bridget and Trent would try to defend Gwen as they see more good in Gwen. Duncan would say, if you're gonna support the rat over the alliance, then you're out of the alliance, referring to Trent and Bridget getting kicked off the alliance. Jeff would kind of be devastated as Bridget is out and not happy that she is defending Gwen. The three guys and Courtney then leave. Bridget and Trent comfort Gwen, assuring that it is not her fault and Justin is the one to blame. Later in the elimination, Duncan and Jeff are angry at Gwen for exposing the alliance. They vote for her. Lindsay and Beth don't know about this, and they vote for Duncan, as Beth doesn't like him. Bridget would vote for Lindsay because she doesn't think this separation was Duncan's fault. Lastly, Gwen votes for Duncan for escalating the drama, so with 3 votes, Duncan is out. Duncan walks out angrily at Gwen and Bridget as he thinks that they both voted for him, but Jeff starts to get kinda sad that he got mad at Bridget for supporting Gwen because he loves Bridget so much and doesn't want to leave her over this drama. But Jeff is still not happy as he lost an alliance member. For the challenge, Justin pulls over Lashana, C, and Beth, trying to propose an alliance since the guys' alliance is split. Lashana for sure agrees to as Lindsay and Beth love the idea of being in an alliance with Justin, who they find very hot. Now for the challenge, Chris hands out the med books and the pizzas. Lashana wouldn't be studying. I think Trent would think the reading part is boring, so he's not studying. And Gwen follows. Courtney reads the book, but Jeff tries to relax instead. And Bridget, seeing this, thinks this is a good time to get good with Jeff. While this is happening, DJ starts missing Mama and questions if the alliance with Jeff is a good thing. During the first part, Bridget and Jeff talk. Bridget asks if Jeff is mad at her, and Jeff says that he's kinda mad. Bridget would tell Jeff that she was standing up for Gwen because she thinks that this drama wasn't anyone's fault, and felt bad that Gwen was getting blamed for. Jeff then admits that he should have listened to Gwen and given her a chance to still be in the lines, and starts regretting. Jeff forgives Bridget for standing up as now he sees the drama wasn't really anyone's fault. But Jeff doesn't forgive Gwen now, and he is still not happy that Gwen told the others about the alliance and got Duncan out. Jeff and Bridget hug it out as Bridget gives Jeff some time to think about Gwen. Later in the second challenge, everyone who studied / ate the pizza would get symptoms, and everyone else wouldn't. The same people who studied like in the original would get sick. I could see Courtney studying extensively, so sick. Jeff, Bridget, Gwen, Trent, and Lashana didn't study, so they wouldn't be getting sick. While everyone is quarantined, Trent sees that pulley thing and hops on. Lashana then jumps on as she says she doesn't want to die. Gwen, Bridget, and Jeff try to hop on, but when Trent tries to pull, they are all too heavy. Trent asks Lashana, Bridget, and Jeff to get off, but Lashana insists that she doesn't want to die and doesn't get off, which means Gwen is left behind and is nervous about the spreading disease. Lashana finds the ingredients and Trent finds the book. Later, Trent, being observative, notices the books are fake, and Lashana is able to expose the cheese and everyone's disease. Chris then comes in and congratulates the gaffers on winning. I don't know, but I feel like the winning team is the team who has the most non-infected people, which were the gaffers, with Jeff, Bridget, and Gwen. For the reward, which was seeing a loved one, I think Gwen would want it so she can see Duncan. Bridget, being nice, asks everyone on the team if they are okay and they agree. I think Gwen would want to see Duncan so she can fix things with him. Duncan would not be excited to see Gwen again as she got him out, but Gwen formally apologizes to Duncan. Duncan asks why she exposed the guys' alliance, and Gwen says that Justin heard what they said about voting him and the others off who are not in the alliance, and Justin forced Gwen to tell the others about the alliance. Duncan sighs as he thinks Gwen should have just kept her mouth shut, but instead of saying anything, Duncan facepalms as he says that they should have talked somewhere else that is hidden and not in plain sight. Both of them acknowledge their faults and apologize to each other, and fist bump it out as they are good now. The night, DJ is making the sandwiches and is scared by Chef. DJ starts thinking that the alliance is wrong, but Chef dismisses him and says that he will help him in the challenge if this one's an elimination challenge. Now, it's a scaring challenge, and for the gaffers, Lindsay would try to force the team to choose Beth. The three would listen at first until Lindsay says Beth is a non-screamer, and Gwen dismisses them as they need someone who can scream loud to scare the team even more. I don't think Gwen would be a serial killer because she is not known for scaring anyone, and she would probably be best as a screamer, as she screams loud when scared. I feel like Jeff can scare because Jeff screams really loud, and I feel like he can scare anyone with a scream. Gwen and Bridget would agree that a louder serial killer can get a louder scream, so they choose Jeff. For the grips, Courtney, Justin want to scare Courtney because she says that she doesn't want to be any files of her getting scared, as it would show her weakness. DJ and Trent just don't choose a side. After some bickering, Chef comes in and say that DJ is the serial killer. Courtney would say no, as she wants to scare, and asks Chef why he is interfering with their choices. Trent would also agree, asking Chef shouldn't he be making food, but Chef holds him down and forces DJ to scare. For the scaring, Chef would scare Lindsay and DJ would scare Courtney. Courtney volunteers as she cares about the challenge but doesn't want to be scared, and Courtney doesn't think DJ can scare. Jeff would scare Lindsay successfully, and DJ would try to scare Courtney, and even with the mask, Courtney is not like Harold at that moment and isn't afraid of DJ. Chef would get mad that DJ didn't win this, and he tells DJ to step it up. Next is the porta potty. Jeff would scare Beth, and DJ would scare Trent. Jeff scares Beth, but Beth makes no noise as she's a non-screamer, so they get no points on the screamometer. Chef would help DJ by banging on the walls progressively faster, and after some time, DJ enters the porta potty and scares Trent after he gets creeped out by the banging. Now it's a tiebreaker with the couch scene. Lindsay and Beth would be on the couch, but when Jeff scares them, they wouldn't be fazed as they know his scream and don't find it scary anymore. For the grips, Justin reads the script and tells Courtney that he fully allows her to kiss him anytime, but Courtney would say that she has a boyfriend. Justin would insist though, and while they're yapping, DJ tries to scare them, but with Justin and Courtney yapping, he's not able to. Chef then comes in with the chainsaw, turning it on, and scares them a lot, and even causes DJ to pass out. While passed out, DJ would have that talk with his mama about being a cheater, which takes a toll on DJ's willingness to play the game as a cheater. The gaffers lost, so now they have to spend the night in the tent. The groups have to scare the gaffers out of the tent, and I can see Courtney taking the leader role for the grips. For the first act, Courtney would tell Lashana to turn off the lights. This scares everyone but Lindsay, who points out the ghost meter isn't reading a thing. Next, Trent comes up with fake blood and drips it down from the walls. Lindsay licks the blood and dismisses it. For the last act, DJ would flicker the lights. Lashana makes the hollering, which terrifies Jeff. Courtney would play Heather's role of hanging, pretending to be the dead police officer, while Justin holds on to her. This creeps out Gwen, but Lindsay says the ghost meter doesn't detect anything. DJ then throws a fork, which sets off the ghost meter off somehow, and beeps. And Lindsay runs out, screaming. The grips win, but as soon as DJ sees Courtney wanting to get down, he sees his mama, who says that she hates a cheater. DJ is very bummed from his mama calling him out. In a regular vote, I think Jeff, Bridget, and Gwen would vote Lindsay out, as they thought that they can rely on her. So with a 3-2 vote, Lindsay is out. If DJ didn't volunteer to quit, yep, DJ feels such guilt in cheating that he volunteers to quit. He exposes his and Chef's alliance, and everyone would want him to stay, especially the guys' alliance. Chef would get angry that DJ is leaving the game, saying that this is his worst move, but DJ doesn't care and eliminates himself. Courtney would absolutely be shocked and feel bad, but also be mad that she was working with a cheater and she doesn't want to cheat at all. As DJ walks away and everyone is saying bye, Courtney just doesn't say anything. Over here, Beth is blabbering about her boyfriend. Just like in the original, everyone would dismiss and think he's not real, especially Courtney, who tells Beth to shut it every time she mentions Brady again. This makes Beth annoyed, and Courtney's bossy/controlling attitude kinda gets on Beth's nerves. The first challenge is the climbing and dodging stuff challenge. Owen is not here to get hit by that big-ass book and automatically get the grips to win, so I can see this challenge being a fair fight. I think the grips would win as Lindsay and Beth are clumsy, and I can see them screwing up. Also, Courtney would be able to guide her team safely as she is a CIT and would be good at giving directions. Now that the grips won, they get the Roman numerals. For the second part, it is the submarine code picking. I'm sure Courtney would want to hold on the numbers because she literally doesn't trust anyone here. Justin wouldn't argue as Courtney tells him to back off from the numbers. While the grips are picking the lock, Gwen is complaining that this challenge is useless without the numbers. Jeff and Bridget are talking about how they should counter Courtney, as she can win any challenge she's determined to win. As they are talking, Beth would blabber about her boyfriend and how he's a lifeguard. Everyone is telling Beth to stop talking about her boyfriend who isn't real. Beth would get angry inside that nobody is taking her boyfriend seriously. Beth builds up enough anger to devise a plan that they'll all see. I'm sure this challenge would only last like 2 minutes, even with the water rising up, as Courtney is a CIT and must open the hatch for her team to be a good leader. Courtney does just that and wins the challenge for the grips. Now the prize was the not-so-fancy vacation on a volcano near Vancouver, and Courtney would definitely not accept. Instead, the team would agree on soda and chips. Nobody would be coming back on a wheelchair, as I don't think anybody's getting hit by Chef's big-ass book. For the controlled paint blast challenge, Lindsay would volunteer to be leader. Lindsay would become Admiral Lindsay and explain the rules, but Jeff, Bridget, and Gwen just walk away, planning to cover the house in explosives. Lindsay would be bummed that nobody cares to listen to her, and Beth tells Lindsay that she has gone through the feeling of nobody listening. Lindsay asks how she can get the others to listen, but Beth becomes vengeful as she remembers those times everyone didn't believe she had a boyfriend. Beth would tell Lindsay that they need to teach the others a lesson. Beth proposes that they would tell Justin and Lashana to vote out the couples one by one. Lindsay would sort of agree, as she thinks that Justin and Lashana would listen to her, and she can teach the others to not to listen to her, or they get voted out. Lindsay would love that idea and burst into an evil laughter. Beth would tell her to save the happiness for later as they walk over to the bombs. Meanwhile, Bridget would leave for the bathroom and set up Gwen and Jeff. While Gwen and Jeff are alone placing the bombs, Jeff goes to Gwen and recalls her exposing the alliance, he realizes if Justin was the threat, then the expose wouldn't be her fault at all. Jeff apologizes to Gwen for judging her too quickly. Gwen would forgive, as she has moved on from that drama at this point. Jeff asks Gwen if they're good again with a fist bump, and Gwen agrees, smiling, saying that she doesn't want to get mad at anyone. Chill and nice like Jeff. Bridget comes back at the right time as Gwen and Jeff fist bump, and Bridget is happy that they are good. As soon as Lindsay and Beth arrive to place bombs, the three have placed all of them. On the other side, Courtney would take lead role and devise a plan to cover up the building with the bombs, while drawing on a blueprint. After long talks and agreements, Courtney walks over to the building but is surprised that Justin finished the job. Chris explodes the Gaffer's building and the paint doesn't splatter everywhere. Chris explodes the Grip's building and he gets blasted with paint. So the Gaffers win. Now, the protect the treasure part. Gwen and Jeff would think placing booby traps around the chest would be a good defense, so they go with that. Lindsay's just left alone with Beth, as they don't listen to her. Also, Bridget comes up with a decoy chest that they can defend heavily while the real chest hides behind a dirt mound. Gwen and Jeff would love this idea, and Bridget gets started on replicating the chest. I can see Lashonda coming up with armor against any fighting, and Courtney would think that extra protection is a great idea, so Lashana is getting some pans. Justin would get lazy and lie on a hammock, but Courtney tells Justin to get up and she slaps him in the face, waking him up and forcing him to get the armor with Lashana. Later, when the challenge starts, the Grips would be charging at all of the Gaffers, who defend everyone from getting past the traps. Soon, the Grips are just too much and they steal the decoy chest. The Grips celebrate as Chris says time is up and the Gaffers win. Courtney would be so confused, but then Bridget and Jeff would pull with the real chest. Courtney is screaming because she can't believe that the Gaffers came up with the decoy chest. Justin would come up to Admiral Lindsay and compliment her idea of the decoy chest. And Beth doesn't correct Justin, as they want to feel appreciated for once. Beth then pulls out her alliance to tell her about her plan of voting off the couples one by one, which means Trent is out, so the guy's alliance would be weaker, and she can get revenge on them for not listening to her or Lindsay. Lindsay and Lashana are on board, but Justin questions if they should vote out Courtney first, as she is a fierce competitor and can beat the crap out of them. Beth would just say that they're gonna vote for the guys' alliance first before Courtney, so Courtney wouldn't have no possible allies or would have to go with their alliance. All of them agree to vote out Trent tonight, and with 3 votes, Trent is out. I don't think Trent and Courtney would vote together as they don't like each other at the moment. Trent is sad and screams Gwen as Chef carries him to the limousine. And the camera then shows Gwen, who gets emotional that Trent is leaving and is not happy with Courtney and the Grips for voting Trent out. In this aftermath, we could see Heather and Owen interviewing Duncan, DJ, and Trent. I could see Heather trying to get Duncan to say something bad about Courtney by asking how he thinks Courtney's recent behavior was, and Duncan catches on and angrily asks the audience if someone can replace her, but Duncan is just dragged away. For DJ, Heather would show the clips of him being scripted and saying he does not feel bad for cheating. But she is hit by DJ's mama with a lettuce and then shows the clip where Chef is clearly forcing him. Lastly, Heather would ask Trent how his relationship with Gwen is going, and then she would make rude comments about their alliance, which causes Trent to speak out and leave the talk show, which Heather does not like, as she wants to make fun of their relationship even more. Now, in the beginning of the day, everyone is eating, but then one person from both teams would separate from the group for whatever reason and get kidnapped and placed in a vault. It was Lashana for the gaffers and Owen for the groups originally, but now Lashana's not on the gaffers and Owen is not here. I had to choose two people who would likely leave the dining tent. Feel like for the gaffers, Jeff would get lured by some scent of good food. Jeff would be the only one smelling, and he'd find a pot full of nothing and get kidnapped. For the grips, Justin would try to charm Courtney into liking him more and with his looks, and Courtney would have no interest and tell Justin to stop trying to go after her, as she loves Duncan. Justin claims that he isn't, and he just wants to know how she thinks of him. Courtney would say that Justin is not that useful in challenges and should back away. Justin would debate this by saying he can do stuff and flexes his muscles, but knocks Lashana's apple juice in the process, spilling it on her shirt. Lashana would look unhappy at Justin and leave to go change her shirt, but gets kidnapped. I don't know, but I feel like this is the most likely situation for one of them leaving the tent. Now for the lockpicking, nobody is given hints to the code. Courtney would yell at Chris as she says the challenge is impossible, and Gwen would agree. Beth then pulls out that chicken perfume and thinks Jeff can hopefully break through the vents and to go eat the chicken. I don't know if Jeff would go crazy like Owen, or even go crazy for the perfume, but otherwise, nobody is escaping, and this challenge would go on forever. I'm just gonna say, Jeff is really hungry and wants to eat, and goes crazy over the chicken perfume smell, but doesn't go as crazy as Owen did. Jeff would take several minutes to pull out the vent cover and charge at the other cover. Eventually he does, and the gaffers win this part, while Jeff imagines the teams as chicken wings. The gaffers go to the bank teller, and Courtney would just tell Justin to leave Lashana so they can possibly win the challenge. Lashana hears Courtney apologize, and she is assuming that Courtney and Justin are leaving her behind, but she has hope that they will come back to get her. Now it is the bank teller part. I don't think anyone is coming back to be the bank teller, because I don't think anyone else is suing or has a good reason to come back like Courtney did. Originally, Courtney came back here because she filed a lawsuit for her unfair elimination in Ireland. And that works. So simply nobody is coming back. Gaffers win as they are first, so they win the loot. For the go-kart building and raising, Jeff would be building the go-kart for the gaffers. I'm sure he'd do this because he would know how to build one, because he built a bike last season, and he'd volunteer so Gwen and Bridget wouldn't have to go through the hassle of building. Courtney is building, but wouldn't get how to build the go-kart, and as soon as the gaffers start running the engine, Courtney would tell Justin to get in the cart and run just like in the original. In Ireland, Jeff built a bike with no bolts in it, causing the bike to fall apart as DJ was riding it. And I wouldn't know if he would learn from his mistakes from Ireland. He'd probably be too focused on Bridget to remember some stuff from Ireland. So I'll say that the gaffer's cart would fall apart just like Jeff's bike did in Ireland. Courtney and Justin run down the hill and make it to the finish line, passing the gaffers who aren't able to move the cart quick enough to beat them. Grips win, and gaffers are at elimination. As the ceremony is starting, Justin visits Lashana, who's still stuck in the vault, and expresses his concerns over Lindsay and Beth being outnumbered by Jeff, Bridget, and Gwen, who would probably vote for one of them. Lashana would sigh, but would be angry at Justin and Courtney for abandoning her and leaving her stuck in the vault. Between Lindsay and Beth, I feel like the three would value Beth a bit more, as she got Jeff out of the vault and Lindsay didn't really do anything, so sadly, Lindsay is out, and Beth is very sad and hugs Lindsay as she walks to the limousine. The episode would start off with Lashana taking jabs at Courtney for leaving her behind, and Courtney tells Lashana that she should be grateful that her and Justin won the challenge and didn't vote her out. Lashana gets angry and goes to talk with Beth about her frustrations with Courtney. Beth understands Lashana's frustrations with the others, as she also shares her thoughts of Jeff, Bridget, and Gwen. Beth knows that she'll be the next one out if her team loses, so she devises a plan in her head. I'm sure the contestants at this point would know this is a non-elimination, so Beth tells Lashana that she and Justin need to prove to Courtney that they can be very good leaders in the challenge, so that they can hopefully convince Courtney that they can lead in the next challenge and throw the challenge and then eliminating Courtney. Lashana is shocked that Beth gave a good plan, and she comments, "This plan is pretty good for real, unlike your boyfriend." Beth would shout at Lashana to get the plan in motion if she doesn't want to get eliminated by Courtney. Lashana then goes up to Justin and tells the plan. Now, with the fire making challenge, I don't think anyone on the gaffers would be able to make a fire without Lindsay. I don't think they'd be able to make a fire. The Grips have Courtney, who struggles to make a fire, and Justin, wanting to gain Courtney's trust to be leader, says, let me try. And it would take a few attempts and a yell from Courtney for Justin to start the fire. Grips with the challenge and the bigger bones for the next challenge. Beth is smiling at Lashana as she is happy that the plan is starting to work. For the first match, Lashana is put against Bridget. Bridget would fall as soon as Chris blows the horn, so Lashana is winning this. Afterwards, Beth smiles at Lashana, and as she is happy that the plan is going well so far. Next is Jeff and Justin. Justin would try to prove that he is strong by going hard on Jeff, but Jeff does not take the first hit lightly, as Jeff would threaten Justin that he will hit the face, and Justin becomes all scared and says that he won't go hard. Jeff would thank him as he hits Justin in the face, causing him to lose. Now the last round is Beth against Courtney. I think Courtney would win this fight as she'd be fighting hard so the Grips can win. Grips win. Courtney would brag to her team about how she carried the team and Lashana just won because of luck. Lashana would get mad and try to say Bridget is just clumsy and she would have beat her otherwise. Justin pulls Lashana aside as he is worried that they didn't prove that they can lead the team for once, as Courtney is criticizing them for their bad play. Lashana then says that it is no use trying to convince Courtney and instead just have to throw the next challenge while not taking the leader role. Now in the beginning of the episode, everyone is placed in this boot camp exercise. Everyone would think this boot camp thing is the challenge. Lashana and Justin would be throwing so they could lose. I don't think the gaffers would be able to push Chef or have the anger from Chef's smack talk about them. Soon, everyone is crawling under barbed wire. Justin and Lashana would bail as they say the mouse traps ruined their feet, and Justin would say he doesn't want to get his face dirty. Courtney would yell at them, asking why they are so weak, and why she's the only one who has been doing stuff. Lashana and Justin just smile as they think they're doing a good job at throwing, but Chris reveals that this is an exercise to determine who they're going against. Courtney yells and says that they should be glad this isn't the challenge. Now, there aren't 8 people and for all 4 of the events, so I'll just cut the last event, and one person from the gaffers won't compete. For the marshmallow boxing, Lashana and Beth would go against each other. Lashana and Beth think this is perfect as Lashana would let Beth beat her. Lashana throws a slow motion punch at Beth, but Beth eats the marshmallow gloves. Courtney would yell at Lashana to step it up and punch her really hard, but Lashana steps back to ask what Courtney said, and while looking at Courtney, Beth throws a hard punch that beats Lashana, and Lashana purposely stays down as Beth is happy that she thinks she is winning. Little does she know, Chris announces Lashana wins as she was fighting in slow motion, and she didn't eat the marshmallow. Justin would be shocked that Lashana won, and Courtney would be celebrating and gloating at Beth. Lashana would tell Justin that he has to try extra hard to throw the next challenge. The next one is the badminton match. Justin and Gwen are going against each other. Gwen wouldn't like Justin at all since he forced her to expose the alliance, so Gwen is somewhat mad, but Justin escalates her anger by telling her that Trent's elimination was deserved and it was funny. Justin does this so Gwen can go extra hard and he won't have a chance at winning. This works as Gwen is hitting Justin in the face and everywhere, but Justin is just glad that he was able to throw the challenge. This happiness doesn't last as he realizes Courtney is doing the next challenge and is definitely going hard because she would want the win. Courtney takes jabs at Justin, calling him weak and unattractive and stuff. Justin gathers Lashana and Beth and apologizes to Beth as he knows she's getting out today. Lashana realizes that Courtney would be going harder and also apologizes that they can't do anything unless Lashana realizes Courtney would be going harder and also apologizes that they can't do anything else to save her and that they will keep on playing in the competition for her. Beth would understand, would be very sad. He thought this plan can get Courtney, their biggest threat, out. All 3 of them hug it out and plan to hang out once this is all over. Last challenge is Courtney against Jeff in the ball pit, and Courtney wins as she is playing hard in this challenge to win. As expected, the 3 vote out Beth in the ceremony. Justin and Lashana are waiting at the limousine, and they promise that they will keep on fighting till the end for Beth, and the 3 hug it out. I'm very sad to see Beth go here, man. She was on top of her game and had a good plan to get further, but sadly, Courtney's determination is what killed Beth's succession. Now in the beginning, everyone is ambushed one way or another. Gwen tries to go back in the trailers, but slides down the stairs that turn into a slide, into a pit that opens. Jeff checks up on Gwen, but is shot by the tranquilizer. Bridget calls out Jeff's name and looks after him, but is hit by that hat. Courtney, Justin, and Lashana hide in the boys' trailer and think they are safe until a bottle of sleeping gas leaks, filling the room and causing all 3 to fall asleep. Once all of them wake up, they are in a remote-controlled cave. Everyone would be wondering where they are. As Lashana gets up, she accidentally elbows Justin in the eyes, just like Beth did in the original, and Justin would be complaining about his eye and looking hideous. Chris would then appear in a hologram and say that what a good spy would need, and explain that there are no more teams as it is the merge. Jeff, Gwen, and Bridget are celebrating wildly as they leave the other three. Courtney would ask who knows how to deactivate a bomb, just like in the original, but Lashana would see this as an opportunity to get Courtney on her side and have an ally to make the votes 3-3. So Lashana would say yes. Courtney would be glad and follow Lashana. Justin calls Lashana in need of help to get an ice pack for his bruised eye, but he feels Lashana is ignoring him because she is listening to Courtney instead. Justin would feel stumped that he might have lost Lashana's interest, partly because of his eye. She wants to work with Courtney. Courtney would now trust Lashana a little bit and wants to stay with her. As Justin is looking around, he would take a seat, revealing the elevator, and he yells over here. All of them make it to the top where there's the laser alarm part. Courtney would be able to jump and avoid all the lasers, just like in the original. I don't think Jeff, Gwen, and Bridget would even do this, as they feel like the lasers are too dangerous to even try. Courtney gets the grappling hook gun and the wire cut. The fake alarm would count down, would be freaking out. Jeff would think this is the end, and admit some stuff before he thinks he's gonna die. One of those confessions is that he thinks that Heather is the most attractive person on the show. As soon as the alarm is shown to be fake, Bridget would be like, "What?" and question on how and why Jeff would ever think that over her. Bridget loves Jeff most, but hearing Jeff likes another girl over her wouldn't make them break up, as they'd probably promise to never break up. But Bridget would want some time away from Jeff, and Jeff would understand. Gwen would be surprised that Jeff would think this, as she thought with all the time the two spend together, she would think that Jeff would consider Bridget to be the most attractive. Gwen would tell Jeff that she's gonna comfort Bridget for a little bit. Justin would see Jeff all alone and would find this to be the perfect time to get an ally. He would come up to Jeff and ask what's wrong. Jeff would say that he messed up and wants to fix things with Bridget again. Justin would try to get Jeff's trust so he can possibly ally to Jeff. Justin would lie and say that he has been in many relationships before and knows how to calm down these situations. As Justin tries to make his first point, another countdown starts and Chris says that this is the real one. Justin panicked. He would tell Jeff to stay with him so he can continue on the ground. Lashana opens a door and tells Courtney that this should be the way out. Courtney shoots the hook and ties the gun to a pillar and tells only Lashana to start grabbing onto the rope. Lashana wouldn't want to, as she says her fingers would get burned. Lashana sees Jeff's hat and almost steals it. Jeff gets pissed and asks why. Lashana says that they need some kind of harness to get across. Jeff would only allow everyone to use his hat if they don't vote for him and Bridget. Everyone agrees, and Jeff lends his hat to everyone, holds on to each other down the rope. Everyone safely lands and thinks the bombs below would explode, but Chris says that they are fake and they are leftovers. Chris then shows up and shows the stink bombs they have to put out. Courtney is begging Lashana to show her how to cut the wires. Before Lashana tells, she demands the wire cutters from Courtney, and Courtney would give the wire cutters, fearing for her life. Lashana would be nervous as she wouldn't know how to, but she just tells Courtney to cut all the wires. Lashana cuts the blue wire first, and her bomb's timer stops. And she is excited. Courtney would grab the cutters out of Lashana's hands and cut all of her wires. I don't know what would happen if all of the wires cut. Simply, I'm just gonna assume that it diffuses the bomb. Courtney is happy celebrating that, but Lashana interrupts, saying that they have to defuse the other bombs or else they'll be stinky. Courtney reluctantly hands the pliers to Bridget as she cuts all of her wires, and slowly, one by one, everyone cuts their wires, and Justin's the last to do so, with 10 seconds on the timer left. Everyone now is able to walk free without being smelly, and they have to keep Jeff's promise of not voting him and Bridget out, because there wouldn't be a situation where Jeff calls the promise quits. In the original, Courtney had to call the promise quits as she wanted to bathe in the tomato juice to remove the stink, but everyone wouldn't let her unless she calls off the promise. The prize was a cheese factory, and I guess the winners were whoever got the hook and wire and cut the wires first, so that means Courtney and Lashana get the prize. Courtney and Lashana are sort of happy, but they are happier that they are now friends, especially Courtney, who now has a friend/ally to help her. Before the challenge, we can see Jeff and Justin in the washroom, where Justin is making up tips and telling them. Justin says that you should try to be very emotional when saying sorry, and you should always be the first one to talk. Justin wouldn't know anything because he was never in a relationship. Jeff would agree, not knowing any better and trusting Justin way more. After a lengthy talk, Jeff tells Justin that he is the best dude ever and sobs a little bit. Lashana and Courtney would be talking later in the washrooms, and they would share their annoyances with Jeff and Justin. Lashana would start off with how she thinks Justin is abandoning her for Jeff and thought Justin was her main/best ally. Courtney would start to dislike Jeff, especially for making that promise which she wants to break. For the first challenge, everyone has to make a superhero costume. The people who are here in the original will still be the same hero, so Justin with Timberman, Lashana with Super Aqua Chick, Courtney with the Human Cricket. Now, I don't know what these three people here would be, so I'm just gonna create my own heroes, I guess. Jeff could be the Party Wizard, I don't know. His power is that he throws his hat and pizzas like a boomerang. I don't know. Jeff likes a party, so I guess this fits him. Bridget is the surfing girl. I don't know of a better name. Her power is that she uses her miniature surfboard to surf down things and use as a shield. She swings her surfboard in hopes of hitting the enemy. For me, this was the hardest thing to think about. I don't know what she would even come up with. Like, I don't see her being a hero. Like, Gwen doesn't have much courage at a lot of times and isn't very generous. Like, she's more of an anti-hero if she's a good person but lacks hero qualities. I'll just say Gwen comes up with Goth Woman, and her power is that she scratches and grabs onto things with her sharp nails and falls slowly with her cape. I don't know, this is the best I can think of. Now, showing off part, Chris would give the same score to the same people who are here in the original. So, Justin would win 2 points, Courtney would win 8, and Lashana would win 7. For Jeff, I think Chris would like Jeff's party aesthetic, but might think the boomerang thing is kind of weak. But he still likes the party aesthetic, so he's getting a 6. Chris would think Bridget's power is just okay and gives a 5. And lastly, Chris would think Gwen's climbing ability is creepy but cool, so she's getting a 6. Now next is the obstacle course. I'll just go through each section one by one and how the contestants do. Justin would get over the buildings. Lashana crashes into the wall. Courtney would also get over the building. Jeff would confidently jump over the building. Bridget would do good at first, but seeming like she's gonna make it over, but loses confidence while right over the buildings and flutters, causing her to fall a bit and hit the wall. Gwen would not make it high enough, but she uses her claws to climb and she makes it over. Justin is able to catch the potato bag as well as Courtney, Jeff, and Gwen, who punctures a hole in the bag with her claws. Lashana is too late to catch it, and Bridget would run and try to catch it, but she runs a bit too far. Now for the running under power lines, Justin would just get hit and get electrocuted, as well as Gwen and Bridget, who are unable to dodge the bowling balls. Courtney and Lashana would be able to make it, to outrun the bowling balls and make it. Jeff would throw his hat, causing the bowling ball to somehow drop, and he makes it. Out of the three who completed, I think Courtney is still winning this, as Lashana crashed into the building, and Jeff could have taken a few seconds to throw that hat. Later, before the elimination, Justin would probably have told countless tips on how to get Bridget. Awkward tips. Justin would tell Jeff that he should talk with Bridget in the next few days so he can get Bridget back. Also to get extra votes on Courtney. Jeff would tell Justin that he never thought that he'd be the guy to help him. Jeff would be so appreciative of Justin and hugs him for being the best dude to him. Jeff is now ready to confront Bridget and get things right. Now for the elimination. Everyone wouldn't like Courtney that much, and Lashana. And Lashana would be getting some hatred from these guys, especially Justin, for double-crossing him. Since they can't vote off Courtney, Justin would tell Jeff that Lashana is an untrustworthy player who betrays people to hopefully get them eliminated. So, Justin and Jeff are voting Lashana, and I think Bridget and Gwen are voting for Lashana for teaming with Courtney. Courtney tells Lashana that Justin is a big threat, but Lashana thinks that Justin is still her ally. Lashana would say Gwen because she doesn't want Jeff or Bridget or Justin to get mad at her for voting one another. Since Lashana saved her, Courtney would comply and vote for Gwen, but ultimately Lashana is out. Lashana would question Justin, who she thought was her ally, but Justin says that's what she gets for betraying him. Lashana slowly walks to the limousine, sad that Justin thought that way, and Courtney would be sad that her ally is gone. Lindsay, Beth, and Lashana are interviewed here. At this point, Heather tries to make this show something else, like the world according to Heather. Heather would try to talk gossip and stuff, but Owen would keep on reminding her that this is the aftermath. As Lindsay says hi to everyone, Heather really wants to see Lindsay suffer because she's the reason why Heather's bald. Heather would pull out the electric chair and make Lindsay confess. Lindsay would be pressured and spills all of her secrets, and doesn't get shocked for a single one because she is absolutely telling the truth. Heather would be very annoyed as Lindsay didn't get shocked. That's gonna leave a Mark segment happens, and Heather's making fun of everyone there. Later she's interviewing Beth, who I can see get shocked a little bit for saying she refuses to spill her secrets to anyone. Soon, she would admit some stuff, and Heather would be thrilled that one of her ex-Alliance members from last season is getting a lesson. Lastly, it is Lashana, and Heather hates Lashana a lot. They were enemies in Ireland, and I don't see them being neutral here. Lashana would question why there's an electric chair, and Heather says that she just wants to hear some honesty. More like secrets / seeing people getting shot. Lashana would know that Heather has other intentions and refuses to go on the chair. Heather would try to force her to get on it, but Lashana just bickers. The two are bickering, and Owen tries to intervene, and the bickering turns into a full-blown fight, which messes up the studio a lot. Owen then is forced to stop the aftermath here. Wow, I feel like this would happen. Lashana and Heather are enemies, and this wouldn't be out of the norm. In the beginning, Chris is finding the girl whose foot can fit in the glass boot, and I'm gonna keep it the same, with Courtney fitting in the glass boot. Justin wouldn't find Courtney attractive and simp on her for this one episode because he would be waiting on Jeff to get back with Bridget. As everyone is walking to the set for the challenge, Jeff finds this to be a good opportunity to apologize to Bridget. Jeff stops Bridget and leans over to kiss her cheek. Bridget would kind of be weirded out by a sudden kiss, but Jeff is stuttering, saying I repeatedly. Bridget starts copying Jeff with I, but Jeff soon sighs and drops the tips. Jeff says he was thinking about Bridget a lot the past few days. Jeff would say the loving, caring, down-to-earth person and was really sad the past few days because of this. Jeff then says Heather can never compare to Bridget in terms of anything, as Bridget has better natural beauty, better attitude / outlook on life, and has a better personality in general. Jeff would never want to see her cry or spend another day without her. Bridget would say that these words are the most romantic things he's ever said, and Bridget fully forgives Jeff and they kiss. Justin and Gwen are watching on the sides and they are absolutely happy that they are able to get back together. This is so heartwarming. Chris explains the challenge and the four gag at the thought that these challenges are to win Courtney and they all don't like her. Since they don't like her, Jeff, Bridget, and Gwen would not care at all, but Justin would tell the three that he will win these challenges so Courtney wouldn't be able to have a valid vote later, as Justin would give immunity to whoever is voted if needed. All three agree with this and the first challenge starts. For the blindfolds and masks, Justin will get that metal armor, just like in the original. Gwen gets the Red Riding Hood. Jeff gets the wizard hat. Bridget gets the wig. Bridget would be walking, but she slips on the apples, eliminating herself. Jeff would charge into Chef, but Chef is big and blocks him. Jeff does not expect to be blocked, and he falls down. Justin is next, and he charges at Chef and is able to make it to the other side. Chris didn't say the contestants had to go whenever he said, so Gwen would be running right behind, and she makes it to the end. Chris shouts at Gwen that she should have waited for him to read her part out, but still counts her. For the last challenge, you had to stick a sword in the animatronic monster and then fight Courtney for immunity. The monster is chasing Gwen non-stop, but Justin is hiding and soon tells Gwen to duck. Gwen ducks and the monster trips. Justin's able to stick his sword in the monster. Now Justin wants the immunity, so Courtney is voted out and her vote wouldn't count. Oh, the disrespect. Justin won't be simping, and he actually takes a swing at Courtney. Courtney dodges and tries to hit Justin as he blocks. Courtney trips Justin, and Justin falls down. Courtney then backs up, charges at Justin to hit him on the head to knock him out. Courtney charges, but Justin ducks real low and causes Courtney to trip and fall down the tower. Justin wins immunity, and the three are very happy. And Jeff and Bridget celebrate getting back together. Courtney is very upset that she lost because she knows everyone is voting for her, but she can't do anything about that. Just as expected, Courtney is out with everyone voting for her. She wouldn't be able to convince anyone because Jeff and Bridget... Justin is good friends with Jeff, and Gwen is friends with Bridget, and they don't like Courtney at all. So it would be impossible for Courtney to convince any of them. Courtney is screaming and asking what happened to the guys' alliance, and everyone is ignoring, which makes Courtney even angrier, as she is gone. Instead of simping, Justin is pulling the immunity. I like this outcome instead of Justin simping because I feel like it's weird. Justin is simping for someone he has only talked to barely. Chris would leave the secret message and Jeff finds it. Courtney is not here and she never had a PDA in this universe, so the message would probably have to be other than a USB. The message could be on paper and would have what Chris said in the original but written. Jeff, Bridget, and Gwen would have no idea what the message would mean and think Chris's writing is worse than a 5th grader. Justin would think the message, especially the numbers, and how weird it was written. He would think the numbers were the code on the safe. Justin would tell everyone to follow him to the safes. Justin is able to open the safes, and Chris would explain the first challenge. The first challenge is getting people's fingerprints and their hair so they can get on the train later. Justin would love the idea of stealing some DNA and would be the mastermind. He'd be collecting everyone's hair and fingerprints one way or another. After Justin grabs Gwen's hair, Gwen would ask why he's grabbing everyone's hair, and Justin would say he's grabbing the hair because it's fun. Gwen would threaten Justin with how would you like it if your precious palm was covered in dirt and his hair was plucked. Justin would not like that at all. After this, Justin requests the 3 to exchange hairs and fingerprints with each other so they can get on the train. Gwen would question why he won't exchange, and Justin says that he would be ugly without his few hairs. Everyone exchanges and gets on the train. The train challenge would go like this. The body is on the ground. Gwen would know it's a fake body and dismisses the entire murder. Justin, on the other hand, would be playing and would try to solve the scene. Justin would ask Jeff if he can check the top, and Jeff checks the top. And while he's doing that, the body disappears. Justin, playing along, would suspect Jeff would have something to do with the moving body, as he was out of the train when the lights went out. Justin arrests Jeff, despite the 3 telling him to stop believing in this murder case. Justin thinks for a while and starts accusing Gwen of doing all this because she is constantly nagging that this murder case isn't real and really she's just trying to cover up her crime. Chris hears this and says Justin solved the crime, and the 3 would be very confused. In the original, Kristen explained how you can win this challenge and gave the win to Lindsay because she found the most clues. Justin found the most clues. Gwen would complain that this challenge shouldn't even be a challenge, as Chris didn't say anything about a win. Gwen is just really upset and regrets not doing anything. Justin wins the movie night with someone, and Justin chooses Jeff, as he is sorry for arresting him, and the 2 of them are very good friends. In the morning, Justin tells Jeff that he kind of wants to kick Gwen next because she can possibly be a threat. Jeff wouldn't agree, saying that he can't betray Gwen again, but he acknowledges that he wouldn't want to vote Justin or Bridget out. Justin would be like, see, you wouldn't want to vote for any of us, and Gwen could step up her game and if she thinks you, me, and Bridget are voting for her. As Justin is saying this, everyone hears Chef's drumming, and they come out. Chris would be telling about what it takes to be a rock star. Owen would interrupt, and Chris gets mad at Owen for interrupting him and tells him to go back. Chris would then say he brought back someone, and nobody guesses, and Owen comes out saying, hey guys. Everyone would be glad that Owen is playing again. Gwen asks why Owen is allowed on the show again. For Chris's reasoning, I don't know what a valid reason would be. Originally, Chris said that Owen sued and got back in the show. But in this universe, he never sued. Maybe Chris says that the first elimination challenge was not supposed to be a double elimination. And yeah. Owen explains in the confessional that he came back because his mom blew the 50K, and Chris gave him a second chance. Same reason as the original. Now the first challenge is the rock and roll one where you have to hit the notes. I'll go through everyone and how they do. Jeff would love hitting the buttons on the guitar and goes a bit too fast, setting the guitar on fire. Owen would be playing until he falls off the stage. Justin would be rushed by seeing how fast he has to hit the notes, and his guitar freaking explodes just like Beth's does. Bridget and Gwen would hit the notes slowly, but Bridget would try to hit the right notes. Gwen later gets tired of doing the guitar and smashes it. In the end, Gwen wins as she tries the least, according to Chris, and gets the advantage of starting halfway. Justin was thinking about getting Gwen out, so he would win immunity in case Gwen somehow convinces Owen and Bridget to vote for him. Next is the paparazzi. I'll just give you a run through. Jeff poses for the pictures, signs autographs, doesn't take the gifts, but takes a sandwich, and he'd fist bump the bouncer. Gwen has backstage passes. Gwen would be shy and avoid signing autographs and avoid taking anything, and would just smile at the bouncer, and that's all. Next it's Bridget, who would be chill and do the same thing as Jeff. Owen would trip and freaking roll to the end. And lastly, Justin poses, signs autographs and bellies, takes the gift and throws it to the crowd, skips the sandwiches and hugs the bouncer. Chris would think that Justin has the best pose. Well, Justin models, so posing is his strong spot. And wins the advantage of 10 extra seconds in the next challenge. The last challenge is the destroying the hotel room one. I'll briefly go through how everyone did. Now, Jeff and Bridget are chill, and nobody is voting for them, so they're just relaxing on the bed. Gwen would just throw stuff, and that's all she does. Owen would find coins and jump on the bed while Jeff and Bridget are on it, and Justin goes beast mode, completely destroying the entire hotel room set. Justin gets immunity. Later, Justin goes up to Owen to tell him to not vote for Jeff or Bridget because everyone agreed to not vote for them. Owen, being dumb, and even though he never agreed to that, he still says he won't vote for Jeff or Bridget. Now, these four are agreeing to vote out Owen as they don't know him that well, and he isn't part of any alliance or really good friends with any one of them, so they all vote for Owen. Chris would see that everyone voted for Owen, but he wouldn't allow this at all because he wants to keep Owen in, and instead only counts the vote Owen made. Justin told him to not vote for Jeff or Bridget, so he voted for Gwen, and Gwen is out. After this is announced, Jeff and Bridget protest that they know the four of them voted for Owen, but Chris would say that he doesn't want Owen to go, so bye Gwen. Everyone comes in and says bye, and Owen leans in for a big, huge hug and says that he will miss her. This is the karate episode. In the night, Bridget would be lonely, all alone in the girls' trailer, so she goes to the boys' trailer. She knocks on the door and Jeff answers. Jeff is really happy that Owen didn't vote for Bridget, and all four of these guys party and enjoy the time until they all fall asleep. Now they wake up, and Chris would tell them to get into teams and have one trainer and one fighter. Jeff and Bridget are definitely a team, and Justin and Owen are the duo. Jeff volunteers to be fighter. Justin would tell Owen that he should fight because he doesn't want his beautiful face to be scratched. Now, originally, Chris wanted Owen to spy on the two teams and sabotage them to pay off the $50K, but now I just don't see how Owen can participate in the challenge and spy on Bridget and Jeff at the same time. Like, unless Justin is sleeping, Owen wouldn't be able to spy. And later, he won't be able to tell both teams about the strategies because he is fighting and can't just get out of the fight to tell Bridget how he and Justin are gonna fight. Bridget just expects Jeff to be able to carry her, and Jeff is able to do that, and that's all. The two just spend more time together. Justin would force Owen to clean all the cars and do the push-ups while a moose is on him. Later, the fight happened. Owen would not be sharing tips as he is fighting Jeff. Now, I really wouldn't know if Bridget and Justin are good at video games or not. I wouldn't know how good they are with controllers. Bridget is sporty and athletic, so I can imagine she's able to move the controller faster than Justin, and Jeff is able to get more hits. Despite this, Justin would play harder, and for the last hit, he'd get Owen to trip, causing him to roll like a ball, hitting Bridget really fast, and this shatters her robot suit, giving Justin and Owen the win. Now, Justin and Owen have to climb the mountain while holding the water and get the bonsai tree down. Jeff and Bridget are sentenced to kitchen duty, and they are totally fine with that because that means they get more bonding time. During the mountain climb, Justin just focuses on himself and doesn't care about Owen. Owen, being told to sabotage, would try to distract Justin by asking him a whole lot of unrelated questions. Justin would get very annoyed, but he keeps on climbing and starts ignoring Owen. Soon, Owen goes kinda crazy over Justin ignoring him and would actually hit him in the arm. This would cause Justin to freak out as he doesn't want to get hurt at all, and then quits as he doesn't want to get hurt by Owen. Owen would be happy that he was able to sabotage and can get the win, but not happy that he hurt Justin. Owen would reach the top and is able to pour the water in the teapot. Owen would also have to go against the Kung Fu Warrior. Now in the original, Owen was ripped up by the Kung Fu Warrior, so I don't see him getting the bonsai tree here and winning the meal. So that does it for episode 22. Now on to the space episode. Justin would be telling Jeff and Bridget how Owen was suspiciously hurtful in the last challenge. Justin would think something is up with Owen, and as he would never hurt anyone. Jeff and Bridget understand, but they don't suspect anything yet, as they still see Owen as a good person who would never hurt anyone. He would bring the gifts to the contestants. Owen gets the trophy and cries about it. He makes a confession that he feels dirty for sabotaging and hurting Justin. I don't know what the others would get, so I'll just assume the item based off their personalities. Jeff gets another hat. It can get another surfboard, and Justin might get some expensive hairspray. I don't know. And I don't know who would be giving these to them either. The first challenge, the zero gravity fuselage. Everyone would love being in zero gravity, and they all bring their items. Jeff would be stoked by this experience and sparks up a conversation asking what everyone's craziest experience was. Jeff would say that zero G's beats anything. Soon the alarm rings and Jeff and Bridget are sort of panicking and feel like the zero G's was a mistake. But Justin would think the joystick can stop the problem, so he pulls the joystick and the alarm is off. Jeff and Bridget are celebrating that they are safe once again, but then Owen grabs Justin's hairspray and breaks the window with it. Jeff and Bridget are freaking out again, but Justin remains calm and sees Owen is not terrified or anything. Finds that suspicious, but he has to focus on closing the window. He sees Owen, and Owen is like, what? And Justin pushes Owen to the window, blocking it and stopping the suction. Jeff and Bridget are happy. We would still get that scene where Jeff is patting Owen's butt, thinking it's pillows, but Chris says that those aren't pillows, and towards Justin the win, and he gets to choose the order for the next challenge. Justin would punish Owen by putting him first, then it's Jeff, and then it's Bridget, and then lastly him. Justin would share his suspicions with Jeff and Bridget, but with the fact that Owen wasn't worried at all when the malfunctions happened, Jeff and Bridget would now be suspicious, but to an extent, and still think Owen is a nice person. Second challenge, this is the 4 times gravitational push challenge. Justin tells Owen that he finds it weird that he didn't react much to the malfunctions and asks if he's onto something. Owen would get nervous like in the original and claim he's a good guy and not some dirty backstabber. These statements make Justin very suspicious. But the challenge is starting, and Owen mentions about that chili he had for lunch. Owen lasts 10 seconds and stinks the ride with his farts. Next is Jeff, who is super disgusted by the stench but still rides. He would ride for 23 seconds but would vomit because of the stench. Jeff's final time is 23 seconds, but 10 is deducted for vomits. Gave the campers the choice to do it or not, so I don't think Justin and Bridget would want to get into a pool of vomit. It means Jeff is the winner, and he wins immunity. Later, the three are hanging out by the campfire, and Owen walks up to them, saying what's up. Justin would call Owen a traitor, and Owen nervously laughs and asks what a traitor is. Justin would tell what he found weird about him, and would point out that he was the only person not accounted for during the malfunction. Owen is guilty, but replies with farts that would drive off Justin. Justin would be telling Jeff and Bridget that Owen is a traitor and they should vote for him. At this point, Jeff and Bridget are convinced that Owen is a traitor, and later, Owen can do nothing, and he is eliminated. Chris would get very mad at Owen because he gave him a second chance, but he blew it very easy. Throughout the night, Jeff is hanging out with Bridget and talking about relationship stuff. In the morning, the three would get together. Justin would ask how the hangout was, and Jeff would be hugging and kissing Bridget a lot. Justin is like, okay, now I get it. Bridget would ask Justin what he would do with the $1 million. Justin would say that he wants to focus on his modeling career and spend money on makeup, bodyguards, and other stuff. Bridget replies with cool and hopes that Justin's modeling career is successful. Jeff would say that he wants to throw the biggest party and set some money aside for him and Bridget. Bridget would be like, "Aww," and would say the same. Justin would then say, "We are all good friends, and I'm sure we would not want to vote for each other. But at this point, we have to. So, to keep this competition fair for everyone, how about we won't help each other in the challenges?" Jeff and Bridget wouldn't agree at first because they are just so in love with each other and would want to help each other. But Bridget thinks about Justin and wants to give him a chance at winning this, so she tells Jeff that it will be fine and that hopefully we all succeed. Now Chris is explaining the Animal Buddies first challenge. You have to pick an animal and train it. This is also the part where he freaking beats up a parrot. Animal selection, I think Bridget would think she can connect most with the raccoon, so she chooses it. Jeff goes with the chameleon. As he thinks it's cool that it can change color. And Justin is choosing the bear. I don't see anyone except for Courtney for some reason choosing the sharks. Justin is choosing the bear over the shark. Bridget is good with animals, so she's able to calm down the raccoon and is able to tell the raccoon what to do. She would just ask the chameleon to change its color, but the chameleon just changes to a random color, and Jeff is kind of annoyed with this. And Justin is just chilling with the bear as he tells the bear that they won't touch and instead they'll just relax. At the talent show, Bridget would probably tell her raccoon to do tricks like roll, jump, and play dead. He scores a 10. Justin and his bear would just organize their hair. I like how that rhymed. Chris and Chef are not that impressed, so they get a 6. Lastly, Jeff just points at colors for the chameleon to become and scores at an 8. Bridget wins and gets the 3 minutes shaved off her time. The guys would congratulate Bridget on teaching her raccoon tricks. Bridget would thank and would say that the guys did an impressive job too. Justin then reminds the two that we are still keeping this fair and we won't help each other on the last challenge. For the next challenge, Chris drops the 3 and their animals in the woods, and they have to somehow get back. This, Bridget's raccoon would lead to the raccoon hideout and play some games, and the two would play some games there. Justin would be walking in random directions, and I think Jeff would go crazy when his chameleon blends in with his hat. Bridget would arrive first, as the raccoon would lead her back. Justin would be taking a few days, but he makes it back, and Jeff would make it back hours later, with Bridget and Justin worried for his safety. Jeff is all crazy and stuff until Bridget gives him a kiss, and now he's back to normal, but he still wonders where his animal is. Justin would say maybe it's on your hat, and it was on Jeff's hat the entire time. Bridget wins immunity for arriving first. Later, Justin is just with Bridget, trying to get along even better with her, so she won't vote for him. Justin knows that Jeff and Bridget might be voting for him, so his best bet is to make Jeff and Bridget vote for themselves, and then Justin votes for one of them. I can imagine Justin is able to convince Bridget that she is a very good friend and that she shouldn't put her vote on anyone. Justin also has the same talk with Jeff and is able to convince him. Later in the vote, Jeff votes for himself, Bridget votes for herself, and Justin votes for Jeff, as he is the stronger competitor of the two. Bridget would be very sad that Jeff is leaving, but understands that one had to go. Jeff would congratulate Bridget on making it this far and tells her to win the show for him. Bridget would promise to win, and they kiss one more time before Jeff is pulled into the limousine. Justin is just watching and is smiling that he has a 50-50 chance to win. Now at the beginning of this episode, Justin is with Bridget, comforting her through the night as she's afraid of being alone. Justin and Bridget are seen talking about their fears and how they got them. Bridget would be telling Justin that one time she was camping in the woods with her friends, and at one point in the night, all her friends needed to use the washroom, and she was all alone. Then Bridget recalls a shadowy figure, which didn't look like anyone or anything she knew, and started making noises which terrified her. The noises caused her to come running to the washrooms, and ever since that, she has been afraid of being alone. Justin would share that he fears he loses his handsomeness because that would mean his modeling career is over, and he's worried about what everyone says about him after that. Suddenly, the trailer is filled with sleeping gas, and the two wake up on the pirate ship. Chef would come in with actual food, and Bridget and Justin are just so ecstatic that they are getting real food, and they start munching in. Chris would then interrupt and explain the 3 challenges. Justin would tell Bridget that we should be on our own today and we should try not to help each other to keep the game fair for everyone. But really, Justin doesn't want to get slowed down by Bridget. Bridget would agree and the challenge starts. They have to first clean the lavatories with swabs. I can imagine both are gagging at the disgusting smell. They both would take 2 swab packs to clean the lavatory, but Justin finishes first. As Justin is about to start doing the second challenge, Chris tells him to go back as the Squatchinaqua comes back to use the toilet again. Justin is quick though, and he finishes, but worries that Bridget is struggling a bit, especially after not making a noise in a while. So Justin breaks his word and he comes inside to help Bridget, who is just overwhelmed by the stench. As soon as the two finish cleaning, Bridget asks what happened to not helping, and Justin is like, only this once? The two grab their flags and have to climb the oiled up pole. Justin would see how oiled up the pole is and wouldn't want to climb it at first because he's afraid that he'll lose his handsomeness. Bridget hears that and would comfort Justin by saying that he'll look handsome even after climbing, and he can wash up the oil. Both of them tie their flags at the same time, and they slide down the pole. Next, they have to air pump the cannon, and they are able to do so in minutes, and they load themselves in. While this is happening, I didn't mention this, but throughout the entire season, Chris and Chef had some drama because Chef is mad that Chris makes him do all the hard work, and Chris just slacks off. Chef has been telling Chris that he's tired of being on the show, and that meal was the last one he cooks. Chris would make comments like, without this show, he would be selling hot dogs on the street. Chef would reply by saying that being the host was the easiest job. Chris would object, and Chef would be like, fine, let's switch. So they switch. Justin is already in the cannon waiting for one of them to launch him, and Justin gets launched. Bridget would stay behind because she notices something up with Chris and Chef. Chef then leaves for Justin, and Bridget approaches Chris, who seems to be a bit down. Bridget asks what's wrong, and Chris would tell her that Chef is leaving the show. Bridget would say the same thing as Beth did, saying that Chris should be more nice to Chef and that it works all the time for her. Chris would be uplifted by this talk as Bridget gets into the cannon, and Chris thanks her for the talk as he launches Bridget away. Bridget arrives at the scene with Justin, who is trying to answer Chef's arbitrary questions like, where did Owen and Heather go after their elimination? Justin wouldn't know any of these, but I'm sure Bridget would know because she is a people person, and she gets to move on to the next challenge. Justin would go to the monster and show off his handsome looks, literally loves him instantly, and puts him down. They both advance to the next challenge. I'm not gonna go through all this, so basically, Justin doesn't answer any of the questions right, but Bridget is able to answer. For the last question, Chris would ask Bridget what color is Courtney thinking of right now. Bridget only knows the past information and stuff, but wouldn't know stuff that's happening at the moment. So Bridget would say, I don't know. Then Chris asks Justin what is Courtney's band name, and he wouldn't know. Since they don't know, they have to do the disaster obstacle course. Over here, we can see Justin and Bridget dodging items and somewhat helping each other dodge. While the two are down, Justin asks Bridget teamsies for this challenge. Bridget would say yes. Chris would definitely step up his game with shooting things from a slingshot, but he wouldn't be able to shoot stuff without Chef. Chef would come in with the save, and they both try to shoot it together. Chris would be apologizing to Chef about mistreating him and would be complimenting him a bunch. Chef would take this to heart and say he will stay as long as he gets the vacation. Chris would agree, and they are now trying to finish up the save lands on Justin, but the save lands on Justin just like it did on Duncan, and he is stuck, but Bridget would help him up, saying that he is such a good person for comforting her and helping Jeff, and they should tie instead of solo win. Justin would like the idea, and they move on. The two run through the doors to the aftermath, and they appear at the same time, causing Heather to say it's a tie. Everyone gasps, and Heather is just enraged that there couldn't just be a sole winner. Since this is the finale, this is more of a rewrite because both characters have their alternate ending. Heather and Owen would be going through the that's gonna leave a mark and the embarrassing clips of Chris. Chris and Chef are at the airport, but as soon as Chris sees those clips, he immediately wants to go back to the studio. Heather would show clips of Justin and Bridget. Now, Justin kind of plays an antagonistic role this season, manipulating people and stuff, so Heather shows clips of Justin doing nice things, and Heather shows Bridget doing bad things. Since Chef finally arrive and take back the show, they also start question asking. Now, I won't be going through the question asking because I don't know what the contestants would ask, and I don't want to make the video a billion years old. This video is already a billion years old. Now, I think those mini challenges would still happen, like Harold's cutout game, Izzy's dance-off, and Owen's eating contest, but it would all end up in a tie. Everyone asks questions like what are they gonna do with the money. Bridget thinks this and says that she'll throw a big party and save some money for Jeff and maybe donate somewhere. Justin would say that he would put all his money into building schools across the world, and the crowd loves that response. Now, this is the voting portion, and I put the cast with who they're voting for. I'm sure the peeps who were in the Guys Alliance would have forgiven Bridget, especially after Duncan tells all of them some stuff. Lindsay and Tyler would probably think Bridget should win because she's the nicer person, and Owen and Izzy would lean to her. Beth is here because she really didn't like the guys' alliance. Cody is here because, I don't know, he was in the Drama Brothers with Justin. If he was in the Drama Brothers with Justin, then he would probably like him. Eva hates Bridget. Ezekiel might not like Bridget that much. Harold didn't like the guys' alliance. Heather probably likes Justin's game more. Katie and Sadie think Justin is hot. Despite being voted out by him, Lashana still sides since she also didn't like the guys' alliance. And lastly, Noah likes Justin's game more. In Justin's ending, Izzy actually votes for herself. That means she didn't vote for anyone, and Justin has more votes. Justin would be celebrating, and some of the girls on his side would be hugging him and celebrating. Jeff would kiss and tell Bridget that she still did very well, and he's proud that she was able to be runner-up. All the guys here would be proud. Justin is excited that he will be getting the new makeup and continuing his modeling career. Now in Bridget's ending, maybe Beth or Cody or Noah voted for Bridget instead. All the guys are jumping so happily. Jeff kisses Bridget, and the girls on Justin's side would be telling Justin that he did so good. Eva would be screaming, "No!" Also in both ends, Brady would show up to hug Beth, and everyone is just in shock. This is what I think would happen if Courtney debuted in episode 1, just like the rest of the cast. This scenario is interesting, like, Courtney would actually put up a fair fight in the season instead of skipping half of it. Harold would sadly not be that big of a character, as he got booted early. Same with Duncan, but Gwen and Trent would get more time. I think the biggest change here is that the Aftermath hosts are different. Heather and Owen instead of Jeff and Bridget. This is an interesting duo as you have a mean, manipulative person trying to take over the show with a nice, friendly Owen who everyone loves. Something I like about this is that Trent didn't go crazy and then he didn't spiral down. He did not deserve to fall off like in the original. I feel like there needs to be a definitive antagonist. Like, you can say Justin was sort of an antagonist because he was manipulating everyone, even in the finale, but again, he helped Bridget and Jeff. Also say the same for Beth, kind of, but she was voted out and her antagonistic arc couldn't happen. I hope I can write antagonists much better in the future. So, here's the voting chart of who voted for who. I'm really happy with this what if. Now, I won't be covering the Manhunt special because I don't plan to extend this what if. My next what if is going to be on World Tour, so if you want to suggest some topics, I might consider. Thank y'all so much for the support on the last video. I'm very grateful y'all liked it, and I want to thank all my, 17 subscribers. Y'all are the best. Anyways, that is it for this what if, and I'll see you later, next time in World Tour. Bye y'all.